Dark Towers by David Enrich, a story of power, corruption, and greed. Some stories are thrilling because they involve daring heists, secret plots, and high-stakes gambles. Dark Towers by David Enrich has all of that. But the villains in this tale don't wear masks or sneak into vaults at midnight. Instead, they sit in boardrooms, wear expensive suits, and play with billions of dollars as if it were monopoly money. This book is a deep dive into the rise and fall of Deutsche Bank, one of the most powerful financial institutions in the world, and its deeply troubling relationships with criminals, corrupt politicians, and, of course, Donald Trump. It's a story of unchecked ambition, greed, and recklessness, showing how a once reputable bank became a global symbol of financial scandal. If you've ever wondered how the world's wealthiest people manipulate the system to benefit themselves, Dark Towers will open your eyes and leave you furious. The Rise of Deutsche Bank, a Legacy of Power. Deutsche Bank was founded in 1870 in Germany with the goal of helping the country expand its influence in global finance. Over the decades, it grew into one of the biggest and most powerful banks in the world. Unlike American banks, which were often restricted by strict regulations, Deutsche Bank took a more aggressive, risk-taking approach. For most of its early history, it was a respected institution. It financed industrial projects, supported global trade, and became a key player in European banking. But things started to change in the late 20th century when profit became more important than principles, chasing wealth at any cost. By the 1990s and early 2000s, Deutsche Bank had one goal: to become the biggest and most profitable bank in the world, no matter what it took. It aggressively expanded into the US market and started making high-risk, high-reward deals. It didn't matter if the deals were questionable or if the clients were shady. As long as there was money to be made, Deutsche Bank was in. This mindset led the bank to engage in some highly dubious business. It became a major player in money laundering, fraud, and tax evasion schemes. And as long as the profits kept rolling in, no one cared. The Trump connection, a bank's most dangerous client. One of the most infamous aspects of Dark Towers is Deutsche Bank's relationship with Donald Trump. By the time Trump came to Deutsche Bank in the late 1990s, he had already burned bridges with almost every major bank in America. He had defaulted on loans, filed for multiple bankruptcies, and had a reputation as an untrustworthy businessman. No sane financial institution wanted to lend him money. But Deutsche Bank? They saw an opportunity. Over the years, Deutsche Bank lent Trump hundreds of millions of dollars, even when it made absolutely no financial sense. Even when Trump sued the bank for trying to collect on his debts, Deutsche Bank still gave him more loans. Why? Because at Deutsche Bank, money trumped logic. Enrich reveals that some executives within the bank raised red flags, warning that Trump was too risky. But the people at the top overruled them, blinded by the potential profits and the prestige of working with a celebrity businessman. A haven for criminals and corrupt leaders. Trump wasn't the only shady character Deutsche Bank got into bed with. Enrich details how the bank became a go-to financial institution for some of the world's most corrupt figures. Deutsche Bank helped Russian oligarchs move billions of dollars through illegal money laundering schemes. It was involved in tax evasion scandals that cost governments millions. It even worked with terrorist organizations and drug cartels, all while pretending to be a legitimate financial institution. The book lays out shocking cases like the mirror trading scandal, where the bank helped Russian clients secretly move $10 billion out of the country, helping Jeffrey Epstein, the convicted sex offender, keep his finances hidden from authorities. Connections to authoritarian leaders who used the bank to hide their stolen wealth. Deutsche Bank wasn't just bending the rules. It was actively helping criminals get richer while pretending to be a respectable institution. The whistleblower who tried to stop it. One of the most gripping parts of Dark Towers is the story of Bill Broeksmit, a senior Deutsche Bank executive who started uncovering the extent of the bank's corruption. Broeksmit wasn't a criminal or a corrupt executive. He was a true believer in the idea that banking should be done the right way. But as he dug deeper into Deutsche Bank's dealings, he realized just how far the institution had fallen. What he found horrified him. The bank was hiding massive losses, committing fraud, and breaking the law on a regular basis. He tried to sound the alarm, but instead of listening, the bank shut him down. Brooksmith was found dead in 2014 in what was ruled a suicide. His death raised serious questions about just how much pressure he had been under, and whether he had uncovered something even darker than what the public knew. His son, Val Brooksmith, took it upon himself to expose the truth. He leaked documents, spoke to journalists, and made sure that people knew what was really happening behind closed doors at Deutsche Bank. The fall, when greed catches up. For years, Deutsche Bank operated with zero accountability. It seemed untouchable no matter how many scandals emerged. But eventually, the weight of its corruption became too much to ignore. Governments started cracking down. The bank was hit with massive fines and legal investigations. Its stock price plummeted, and its reputation was shattered. By the late 2010s, Deutsche Bank was a shell of its former self. It went from being one of the most powerful financial institutions in the world to a symbol of everything wrong with modern banking. But perhaps the scariest part? No one really paid the price. The executives who made billions off these shady deals walked away with golden parachutes. The politicians and billionaires who benefited from Deutsche Bank's corruption, they faced no real consequences. And the cycle of financial corruption continues. Final thoughts, a warning we can't ignore. Dark Towers isn't just the story of one corrupt bank. It's a warning about the entire financial system. David Enrich exposes a world where money is more important than morality, where laws are optional for the rich, and where banks operate with little to no oversight. It's a terrifying reality that most people don't fully understand, and that's exactly why books like this matter. Deutsche Bank's story isn't unique. There are countless other institutions doing the same thing right now, helping criminals, dodging regulations, and manipulating the system for their own benefit. And until real change happens, scandals like this will keep happening. If you read Dark Towers, be prepared to feel angry, shocked, and maybe even a little powerless. But most of all, be prepared to see the world of finance in a way you never have before. Because once you know how the game is really played, you'll never look at banks the same way again. Stay tuned for more enlightening content. Head over to www.mybooksummary.com. Don't forget to subscribe and share the magic with friends. And let's grow together through the power of books and interesting stories.